NANI?!
So, Bioware, why you do this? I've put off playing the game Anthem since its launch for a long time now, partly because I couldn't get any of my friends to play the game with me, but mainly due to the fact that ever since I saw this game's announcement from that now infamous E3 presentation, I've always thought this game just looked kind of bland and generic. What also didn't help Anthem for me personally was that the game previously that I had played from Bioware was Mass Effect Andromeda, which I had bought at its release, and needless to say I had a pretty bad experience with that game and ended up returning it after just a couple weeks. Andromeda's faceplant caused me to wait on Anthem until after its release, and that ended up seeming like a really good decision after seeing some of the early reviews and just overall the discourse around the game as a whole. Oh, ChazmanN, you got swayed and didn't play the game because of reviews. You didn't like it and didn't even play the game. You never even gave it a chance. Well, now hold on, wait a second. I did end up playing the game. I'll get to that in a second. About a week or two ago, Bioware and EA announced that they had big news when it came to Anthem, and that this news would depict whether development for the game would continue or be discontinued. So, I finally decided to give the game a try, and I definitely feel as though at this point I have enough information to put forth my opinion on the game and want it documented in video form for my channel. To start off with, Anthem's opening is not bad. In fact, it's even good. Its first hour or two is pretty entertaining, visually and gameplay wise. The environment on this unknown planet that the game takes place on is pretty lush and very wide open, and flying around these locales inside of your Javelin are immediately satisfying and quickly becomes the most entertaining part of the game. People definitely weren't lying when they called this game Iron Man Simulator. Unfortunately though, at least for me as someone who played the original Destiny for darn near 2 years and got super hardcore into that game, I can see everything that Anthem pulls from games of that sort, and unfortunately for me at this point, I'm just not willing to do those sort of things that I was willing to do for Destiny. I mean, once I got to Fort Tarsis with an Anthem, which acts as the hub area for the game, I immediately began to start losing interest. Absolutely no one at the fort was of any interest except for maybe Owen. Walking around Fort Tarsis was damn near putting me to sleep with there being no music, very little ambient noise, and really nothing going on around you. The customization when it came to your character avatar was Destiny levels of basic. The suit customization at least was a little bit more in depth and kind of makes up for the character customization. Then you start getting into how the guns look, and they look super bland and boring as well. The game then attempts to start throwing at you all the types of activities that games of the always online MMO type games seem to have. It wants you to fill in a codex, it gives you a vault to mess around with. There's daily, weekly, monthly trials, it gives you bounties. There's a forge, there's world events, and then there's the equivalent to Destiny strikes. One of the biggest flaws to Anthem that kind of kills all of the incentive to perform any of these activities is, I've said this word already, but just how generic the story, lore, and barrenness of its world. It just throws all of these words and names at you, and for me at least, absolutely none of it stuck. I could not care less about the Freelancers, the Javelins, Relics, the Anthem of Power, the Cenotaph, the Cataclysm, the Dominion, Ciphers, and least of all, the super scary monitor, the game's ultimate villain. To some extent for me, it all just sounded like gobbledygook. Now to be fair, I did say I was a huge Destiny guy, and Destiny definitely suffered from a lot of the similar problems that Anthem has. But what Destiny did have that was able to hook in and bring people back to the game was it had incredible moment-to-moment gameplay, and its shooting mechanics were absolutely bar none some of the best in my opinion in terms of online games. And Anthem just does not have that, unfortunately. The one thing that it did have that I did find entertaining again was the flying mechanics, but that wore off incredibly fast after the first hour or two. Is Anthem the worst video game of all time? That's a very easy no, and I say that while staring at my copy of Too Human over on the shelf. It is though a bit lackluster and pretty unoriginal. For me, it doesn't really bring anything new to the table, and it's definitely a game that I'm gonna wholly forget about 20 years from now. I think what's most disappointing about the game isn't Anthem itself, but in fact for me it's more the Bioware side. To have seen Bioware fall this far is definitely kind of a downer. Gone are the days of Baldur's Gate, KOTOR, Jade Empire, Dragon Age, and my personal favorite video game series of all time in Mass Effect. Don't get me wrong, those games aren't going anywhere and they haven't ruined my childhood. But all this Bioware stuff definitely has me wary about whatever they have cooking up next. Anywho, what did you guys think of my impressions video? Did you like it, love it, or hate it? And what were your thoughts on Anthem? I'd love to hear back from you guys. As always, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you. Please be safe, and I cannot wait to deliver you guys another video on the next EnteR ChazmanN. Adios. Hey now, I see you made it through the video and liked or even possibly loved it. Well, if you want to see any more additional content or you'd like to get into contact with me, consider checking out some of my social medias right here. And if you'd like to go above and beyond and want to support my channel monetarily, here is also a couple places where you can do so. And if nothing else, simply liking, sharing, and subscribing would make me the happiest Chazman on the planet.